Hi, it's Jo Karen Hudson. I'm going to work with you today on section 12.3. We'll be talking about binomial products. Let's start with the definition. First of all, a binomial is a polynomial with two terms. For example, x plus 2. The square of a binomial is a binomial raised to the second power. For example, x plus 2 squared. Conjugate binomials are pairs of binomials with the same first and last terms, where one binomial is a sum and the other one is a difference. An example of conjugate terms are x plus 2 and x minus 2. You see they have the same first and last terms, and only the middle terms differ. So let's start our examples with squaring the following binomials. Example 1, we want to square x plus 3 squared. Now, what does it mean to square something? It means to multiply it times itself. If I'm squaring x plus 3, I'm going to multiply x plus 3 times itself, and then I can FOIL that out. X times x is x squared. The outside gives me plus 3x, and the inside gives me plus 3x, and the last, 3 times 3 gives me plus 9, so that I now have x squared plus 3x, and 3x is 6x plus 9. Okay. Example 2, 7x minus 2y squared. What does it mean to square something? It means to multiply it times itself. So let's write it down twice, 7x minus 2y, and then we'll FOIL it out. 7x times 7x is 49x squared. The outside gives me negative 14xy, and the inside gives me negative 14xy. And then I have negative 2y times another negative 2y, which gives me plus 4y squared. So when I combine the like terms, I'll have 49x squared. Negative 14 and negative 14 would be negative 28xy plus 4y squared. Okay, now I have the job of squaring this binomial, and I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to multiply what I get by the x. It'll be a little easier to square the binomial first. This is x times 4x plus 5 times another 4x plus 5. So I'm going to take care of the FOILing first. So I have 4x times 4x is 16x squared. The outside will give me plus 20x, and the inside will give me plus 20x, and the last will give me plus 25. So that I'll have x times 16x squared plus 20x, and 20x would be 40x plus 25. Now I want to multiply the x times that trinomial that I just multiplied out. X times the 16x squared would give me 16x cubed, and then x times the 40x would give me plus 40x squared, and then x times the 25 would give me plus 25x. Now I want to find the product of the conjugate pairs. I want to multiply x minus y times x plus y. And I will do this by FOILing it out, and you will notice that something special happens every time here. And you may learn to omit that, but something special happens every time. So when I FOIL this, x times x, I'll have x squared. The outside would give me plus xy, and the inside would give me minus xy. And the last, the negative y times the positive y, would give me negative y squared. And you see what happens when you have the product of conjugate pairs. The outside and the inside terms add up to 0. They drop out. So that my final answer would be x squared minus y squared. Later on, we'll be calling that the difference of two squares. Okay, I have another conjugate pair. They're conjugate pairs because they're exactly the same except for the sign in the middle. So I want to FOIL this out. 8x times 8x would be 64x squared. The outside would be negative 24xy. The inside is positive 24xy. And 3y times negative 3y would be negative 9y squared. And you notice that the outside and the inside terms drop out, and I have 64x squared minus 9y squared, which is often called a difference of two squares. I have another conjugate pair. You see that these are exactly alike, except for the middle term is what varies. So I'm going to FOIL this out. 4x to the fourth times 4x to the fourth would be 16. X to the eighth. Remember that x to the fourth times x to the fourth, when we multiply like bases, we add the exponents. That's where the 8 comes from. 16x to the 8th, the outside would be minus 8x to the 4th, and the inside would be plus 8x to the 4th. And the last, the positive 2 times the negative 2 would be negative 4. The outside and the inside drop out, so that I will have 16x to the 8th minus 4. Okay, our last example has a fraction. They are conjugate pairs. I'll want to FOIL this one out. Don't be alarmed by the fraction. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. Now, if you don't like to do fractions, you can actually multiply the 2 on the calculator, but I'm multiplying 3x times negative 1/3, and I can see that the 3's will cancel, and I'll have negative x, or negative 1x if I want to call it negative 1x. The inside would be 1/3 times 3x, and the 3's will cancel, and I'll have plus 1x. And this little job can be done on the calculator, just multiplying the 1/3 times 3 and the 3 times the negative 1/3. You wouldn't want to put the x in there. The last would be positive 1/3 times negative 1/3. 1/3 positive 1/3 times negative 1/3 would be negative 1/9 minus 1/9. So now I'll have 9x squared. The outside and the inside will drop out, minus 1/9. This has been section 12.3. You will need to do the homework on that section. You will need to do the quiz on that section. This is Jo Karen Hudson. Thank you and have a wonderful day.